got next.
Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to season 4, episode 4 of the Street Fighter I Got Next community podcast. Going down today on this no, not Sunday, not Sunday, no. We are going, this is Thursday afternoon or Thursday night or midnight, whichever the side of the globe you on. It's a different day for us, but we're making a special exception because we have a special guest with us here. Yes, this is Shadow Ace, aka Modern Ace, and Sir Retro on production, aka the Mayor of Making himself. We are live and direct. If you guys missed out on the previous episode, free to check them out on Reboot Retrocade Gaming's YouTube channel. Then select the tab that's labeled podcast. That season 1 through 3 playlist with full episodes all available on YouTube. Over 40 hours of content for your listening pleasure, whether you're cleaning up the house, cleaning up somebody, or cleaning up somebody in Street Fighter. Just throw the cast on real quick and then enjoy the vibes. I just introduced myself. My name is Shadow Ace. I am a competitive Street Fighter player, commentator for over 10 years, starting all the way back to Vanilla Street Fighter 4 as my introduction into the FGC. And flash forward now, I am hosting a podcast series, one half of the I Got Next podcast, going on for about 2 years or so now. Has it? It's been like about 2 years, right? Oh my gosh, time is ridiculous.
Mm-hmm.
So far with Sir Retro, we've talked with so many different people, man. We just got want to get their perspectives and their opinions on the Street Fighter franchise and talk about their scene and boost the awareness of what's going on because a lot of people might not know what happens behind the scenes, and this is just a good insight for this podcast to get that information to even help out their scene themselves. But yeah, this is Shadow Ace currently playing Jamie and Terry in Street Fighter 6, and we'll see what happens when Mai and Elena come out. But Sir Retro, the other half of the I Got Next crew, how you doing today, sir?
Hey everyone, how's it going? Greetings, greetings. For those who do know and those who do not know, and of course, Shadows did kind of say a few things about me. I am Sir Retro, the other half of the I Got Next podcast series. Definitely, mainly the Middle Georgia TO head guy of the Reboot Retrocade Gaming and part of the Swag Out Nerds Esports organization. Many hats, of course, running the tournaments, commentating, competing, and coaching, and many other positions as well. Excuse me. So definitely, thank you for the raid, Salt Mine League. Of course, we'll get to that in just a second. Of course, definitely, we I've been very busy lately, but of course tonight we're not gonna hold you guys too long because we're gonna have a excuse me pronunciation. Besonderer tonight, and I like to, and that means special guest in German, and I would like to have Shadow to introduce us our very special guest this evening.
Hmm. Yes, indeed. Yes, we do have a special guest for tonight's event. You guys may have already seen him in the chat if you're peeping. I know we got some of our lurkers in there who saw the name or they may be familiar with that name. You guys saw it from the intro credit too as well. None other than Retus of the Salt Mine League
Yo,
themselves. You know what I'm saying? Readers, I know it's a long it's been a long day for you possibly because I know you're on the other side of the globe there to joining us all the way from the good land of Germany. Definitely do appreciate you taking your time to speak with us. But Readers, but before you introduce yourself, I just want to say that you're fired.
that's not how it works, my man. And you exactly know this. Also,
Ah, I wanted to try.
very happy to be here. Very happy to be here. Yeah,
Oh
it's
man, thank you.
midnight in Germany right now for the people who don't know. But I'm very happy to be here. For the people who don't know me, I'm Retus. I'm running Saltman League, the biggest Street Fighter 6 weekly in Europe. And also I do as a lot of people know already, like I do this since 2023, I think. No, 22 already. The World Warrior series for Capcom. So like all the CPT events, I also did the CPT online during COVID as well. So yeah, as I said, I'm very happy to be here, right from Germany in the middle of the night, just to be on your podcast.
Oh man, they definitely do appreciate that, man. But to understand the present, sometimes we got to take a trip to the past, get the origin story. The origin of the salt. Why isn't it called Pepper League? Why is it called Salt Mine? We got to get some information as what is Salt Mine League. I think you kind of gave us a little hint there as it being one of the CPT premier events in the EU. Most would know it as EU's premier online Street Fighter event. But let's go to the past. The origin story of the Salt Mine League and how did it get started?
It's funny because not even I can explain the entire origin story because I came actually back in later. What I know is that it started as far as I know, it started as a WhatsApp group during Street Fighter 4, and they decided to teach players how to play Street Fighter 4. So this is there's actually a group that still exists that's called Salzmine, which is salt mine on just on German. And later they set up the stream and then explained to people how to play the game. And then when Street Fighter 5 came out, it was kind of the same thing. I was not even part of the FGC back then, and they only did it from time to time. And I came I came pretty much when I bought the game in 2016 for almost a year. Like I just play like I looked at it and just played for myself and I was like, hey, there must be a community somewhere around there. And then I found the German FGC and then I helped working on the salt mine stuff later, but I was not in the lead yet. I was just a guy helping out a little bit. And later we reorganized. It was all for Germans during that point as well, for Germans only. And then later we reorganized it into like a league system with League A, B, and C and D. Like League A was the best, and League D was like the beginners. It was a lot of work. Like I would never recommend, actually never recommend do a format like this. It's a lot of work actually. So yeah, that's how it all started. And later, when we got later, more and more people actually from outside joined in as well, and was like, hey, this is really cool. Can we be entering this as well? And also, like, the old team was dropping out, not doing it anymore. And then at some point, the last guy who was still there said, "Hey, yeah, you wanna take it? You wanna do it?" And I said yes. And that's how I got there where I am now. And later we changed the format again and did one last season with the new format, how it is now for the Germans, and since then it's European, you know. So yeah, that's
Mm.
pretty much the story. But even I as I said, I wasn't there from the entire beginning. So
Okay.
like it exists for a long time actually.
Wow. I didn't know it went all the way back to Street Fighter 4 because I remember the guys that I remember there was like a lot of Street Fighter 5 event like Street Fighter 5 is when I first caught on to the Salt Mine League, and just from there, now that you say that it kind of goes back beyond, I mean, further back, like the growth of the Salt Mine League, I mean, it can't be overstated. Like you guys have grown so much that you're well known internationally. I mean, you even had backing from Capcom fighters themselves, like as a qualifier event, and you got to showcase some of the best talents EU and the surrounding regions have to offer. And there's been so many opportunities that came just from being a part of the Salt Mine League experience. And not only just that, the Salt Mine League staff too has grown too as well with you. Who? Because I know you're one of the the main figures, the figureheads of the Salt Mine League. From what I've been seeing, you've been coordinating with me to like come and commentate here and there. And but outside of just you, how many other members are on the Salt Mine League staff currently?
Actually, currently not that much. I think currently it's only 3 or 4, like 3 who are always there, and 4, like if I count the people in who help sometimes, we are like 5 people, with me included. So actually not that many. But I have like these people know exactly what they have to do. So you don't need a big team. If you like have good people who know exactly what they have to do, then it's easy. Then you don't need like that many people. I think it's actually easier if you work with less people who know what they are doing instead of like many people and then everybody get in each other's way. So I kind of like it how it is now.
Okay, oh, I can see that. I now, you mean now that you explain that, because everyone has their role, everybody knows what to do. Like nobody's like really in each other's way, or there's like somebody that's not standoffish to the side and who isn't doing too much, and then now you probably got someone asking questions or like what are they doing or something like that. It kind of creates less of a dramatic situation.
Yeah.
And with everyone having their own roles and what they do, it's a bit more organized. So yeah, I could see that from that perspective. Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. And then when I mentioned that your Salt Mine gave so many opportunities, like even from like the birth of the players too as well. Like you guys have so much talent that just comes through the bracket on a weekly basis. Like for somebody like just the Walker, Problem X, Mr. Crimson, Random, like everybody, they just pulling it up to compete in these events weekly, and you guys are getting like over 60, maybe more than that, per week. That's
Yeah.
like how how is
Yep.
it grow? It's grown to that level. It's just one of those premier events that's in the EU, and I can't stress enough for people who live over there who may not know about it. I know you guys have done your outreach and trying to get people to sign up, and I think you guys probably get like maybe one or two new players every now and then. I think yeah, the word is definitely getting out there. But
You
with
know
so
my
much
honest opinion about it?
hmm
My honest opinion about it is that Saltman League is the. I don't want to spit fire, but now, but I kind of have to. So my honest opinion about it is that Saltman League is the hardest weekly to win in the world. Street Fighter Weekly, like with the amount of players we have in there, with as you said, Problem X, Ending Walker, Hurricane, Juicy Joe, like all these top players. It's like Saltman League is super hard to win in my like.
Yeah,
or
you got
even making top 8. You know, like it's actually a huge accomplishment by now to making top 8 in Saltmine League.
I got finalists and champions before you even get to top 16. Having to fight each other.
Evo
That's how
champion,
ridiculous.
yeah, Evo
Evil
champions
champions,
against each other for top 8. You know, like
just to get to top 8, that's kind of crazy to me. That's like, wow, that talent. I mean, like you said, that bracket is always fully stacked with a lot of really talented players, man. And it's always a good show every week. You guys always get a good crowd. Manage to hit the Metro, goals, and just the real. I like to see it. I like to continue to see the growth of the Salt Mine League, and here's to a better and brighter future of that. So, in regards to that, before we move on to our panel here for that, was there any other information about the Salt Mine League? I think later on we're going to, when we do like our ads and slides, you could tell a little bit more people about like signing up. But as far as, say for example, someone's looking to kind of do what you guys do, or maybe like kind of want to figure out how to get started to get to the level you guys are at, what advice would you have for them?
my advice: don't do it if you do not have a lot of patience and can be nice to other people, even if they are pretty annoying. Otherwise, you shouldn't probably do bothering with being a TO. Like I love organizing and watching Street Fighter a lot, and I love talking to people. But on the other side, like you need to have a lot of patience, and you need to stay nice, in my opinion. Like, so yeah, what I say, what you need to have is a lot of patience and the ability to stay nice, even if it's a situation where you innerly like saying, "Bro, I really could punch this guy in the face right now." But yeah, that's my advice.
Yeah, it's customer service. It's kind of like I think me and Retro, we talked about it before in the past on like previous episode with people about how being a TO is literally like the job.
Mm-hmm.
It's sometimes paid, sometimes not paid. But it leans more onto the not paid side. But, we could kind of talk about that a bit later. But yeah, that it's more in line of you just dealing with people in general, like people you never met before, and just interacting with them. Some people might not do too well in a social environment, or have the social skills to kind of communicate and communicate effectively and mature about situations. So, problems can arise, and it's up to 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 kind of be the forefront of dealing with that, neutralizing the situation, trying to make sure things are balanced. And unfortunately, you have to interact with the people. Being a TO, you have to interact. I think
I mean,
that's a
don't get
very
me wrong. I love interacting with the people. Otherwise, I wouldn't do it. But
mm,
it's like even when they are angry or whatever, like I still like talking to them. But as I said, you need to be used to it and like be able to deal with it. Otherwise, TOing is probably not for you. That's what I wanted to say. Yeah.
I think that could be a big part of it, for sure, because that kind of would segue. I think that kind of segues into our future topic that we're going to discuss a bit later on. We're going to circle back to that because I'm like, hey, remember when you said this about being, a TO? But yeah, yeah, I think that's pretty sound advice, is being able to interact and being able to communicate effectively with peers in order to make sure things are ran smoothly is kind of like a main key ingredient into making sure things are ran good. But okay, all right. So we're gonna go ahead and dive into our panel. A couple of topics. Again, it's a bit late over there for you on your side, so I don't want to keep you too long here as well. So thank you again so much for coming in and talk to us. So yeah, so let's go to the topic here. One of the first ones is patches. We recently just had a patch for Terry to come out. Got a couple of changes here and there. Do you think that as a TOs, we always got to make sure the games are updated to like the latest versions,
Hmm.
and to make sure everything's compatible to make sure the tournaments ran smoothly. Do you think patches and fighting games change player mentalities? When I say that, I would say like how it could affect how a player will continue to play a game. If a game doesn't get patched and it has issues, do you think people will still play it? Like patches, I feel like they're designed to like balance out or correct unintended functions for characters through research and development. Gets patched too frequently, is that a problem? Like how would you guys well, I'll ask you first, Retus. How would you feel about a game that, about patches in general? Like, do you think players really like take way too much of mind to it, or it's like, oh, okay, whatever patch comes out, I'll just play it? Or do you think that that can be a harmful thing over time?
There is, well, it's a little bit, it's a interesting topic because, like, when you look at Twitter or some other social medias, people are always like, yeah, this game isn't get patched enough. There are issues, or with any fighting game, really. But if you really think about it, it's, for example, like with the Capcom Pro Tour now, if you patch a game too much during a Capcom Pro Tour, like it did happen with Street Fighter V during one point, when too much changes over time, it's really hard to adapt to it, like during a running season for the game, and then I think it actually becomes a bad thing. Like what they need to do is like keeping the balance between patching, but like if they do a patch during the season, it shouldn't be like like in my opinion at least, it shouldn't be like some super game changing, like bringing a new mechanic in or whatever. Like do this outside of the seasons, like minor adjustments, or if there are really bugs or like cool stuff you could add without totally changing the game, then it's fine in my opinion. But like um totally changing the game, like doing a running Capcom Pro Tour or Tekken World Tour, whatever it is, I'm not much of a fan of. So
Yeah,
yeah, in terms of like I think a lot of people actually don't think about it really much. Like they are like demanding stuff and then not actually thinking about it, what it means if they actually, like, if Capcom would go ahead, for example, and patch every single issue, or bringing like, for example, a lot of people saying like parry should be removed or anything. Imagine they're doing this now, mid-season or whatever. Like the game would totally change mid-season, and I think a lot of people actually dislike that way more. Like they would regret later for actually demanding it. At least if it's mid-season, you know what I mean. So yeah.
yeah. If it's yeah, like you said, if it's like during the middle of the season or something that's like really major that could kind of change the whole entire like a mechanic, I guess I can use Street Fighter Five as an example. So how they added in, was it no, what was it? Not reversal. Oh goodness, I cannot think of the name of it right now.
Not V
But
V
they
shift.
trigger
added
2.
in, what was the dodge? What was the
V
dodge?
shift.
Yeah,
V
V
shift. Yeah,
shift.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that was huge.
And
That
during
was
another season it
actually,
was V trigger 2, right? Yeah.
yeah. So
Mm.
that's a huge, because that's a whole completely different mechanic now on top of whichever changes to the character that come, whatever whichever changes characters that come with it. So that kind of puts it in the mindset where you're in tournaments or you're in the middle of season. Now you have to adapt, adjust to this brand new mechanic mid season. And it kind of either makes you, it kind of puts you in a better spot because your opponents might not be familiar with it, or it could be at a disadvantage because you're not familiar with it and you don't know how to really like fully utilize what it can really do, or you didn't have much time to train against that new mechanic.
Yeah.
So like, yeah, so like there are different variations of patches. So I just want to make that clear. Like, there's maintenance patches can address like the game mechanic functionality, like network connections. Balance patches which address the character issues, and the system patches that overall address the performance of the game. So all of that taken in consideration, especially with network patches.
I
Heck,
mean,
I'll give you an example. What PSN went down a few days ago during the middle of a tournament, and that was like those are kind of things that can sort of change the whole entire feel of how people are going to run and operate things or what they
I
decide
mean,
to
there's a
do.
reason why they, for example, have like the rule in that new characters, like we did run World War last week, right? And they have the rule in that they couldn't play Terry. Like Terry is straight up banned for the first week. Like in the week, like if a CPT event is in the same weekend, the same week as the patch, the character, like the patch is in, but the character is not, because there could be something broken about him, or even if he's fine or whatever. Like they acknowledge it. Like you can play this character right now. There needs to be a 7 day gap between the events. I mean, I get that pro players need to be able to adapt to whatever whatever the developers decide to throw at them with whatever patch. But I'm personally just not a fan of huge adjustments during a running season.
You have to get familiar with whichever changes that are affected, even
Yeah.
for commentators too as well. Oh yeah, this is he's plus that there was +2 right there. It was oh no, they changed it. It's +4 now. Like what? When did they change that? "Hey, man, they just had a patch this past week. You didn't know? No, no, no. See, stuff like that it kind of
Yeah, then
builds
you
to the
actually
experience.
mess
Yeah,
it up in the tournament because you didn't know about it yet, and then you lose the game. Like this is, you know.
yeah,
I
because
mean,
people
yeah.
listening to it, they say, no, that's wrong. That's wrong. The chat screaming at you. Now you gotta correct yourself. So it's a whole big thing about that.
So yeah, they really need to keep the balance right there. So do they have it now? I'm not sure. I think there could be a little bit done more, but it's really hard. Like it's hard to tell, or hard to find the balance between like patching enough and patching too much. So I'm not a developer, and I don't want to be in their shoes right now. It's a hard job.
Yeah, I know they have certain deadlines and things that they got to meet probably to get things out and going. And I also kind of look at it as well, like what would determine needs to be patched. Like, do they go through the play testing period and it's like, oh, okay, I want to decide that this needs to be has two more frames added on to it or something like that. Wonder how that process goes. But yeah, as far as like if for TOs, there's been situations of like even for offline, like they may not know that a new patch came out for a game and they're playing on the old version, and then in the middle of the tournament somebody realizes that, oh no, this isn't updated. It's like, oh, what do you mean? You go
Mm,
back to the main menu and you see the version number, and it's like, oh, this isn't version one point, this. And they changed that in this version. I was like, oh, so the whole tournament was on the wrong version. So then a communication like that can kind of affect the entire event with, making sure things are
yeah, what was
updated.
the
So
what
yeah.
was the name again of the big event in USA who got totally screwed over this year by the Capcom patch, which came out pretty much one day before the event or 2 days? Was it?
Wasn't that CEO?
Yeah, I
Wasn't that
think it
the
was. It was.
I
Was
think
it
so
CEO?
because of Bison.
'cause they had to do the Bison thing, right?
Yeah,
'Cause he
and
was
they.
released that same
Yep.
week.
Yeah, I remember there was one
Right.
event that got totally screwed over. It was,
Right. And then
yeah.
I know
Yeah.
Comma Breaker's case. I think Akuma came out, and people.
Oh yeah, it was Combo Breaker. Yeah.
But I think Bison was just as close to CEO. Akuma was like a few days, at least almost a week before, I want to say.
Yeah, and they even had to do a poll if they want to do the
Right,
playing
right.
on the new patch with Akuma or not. Yeah, now I remember. Yeah,
And everybody agreed to play on the new patch.
yeah,
But
yeah.
but they didn't release the patch notes until like what 2 days before. So nobody didn't really know unless you actually got the
Yeah, I
list
think
or
the patch
somebody
was
sent it
like
to
2
you.
days before the event, or 1 day even.
Yeah, and they just said, yeah,
Yeah,
let's go
yeah,
ahead and play on the patch. This
yeah.
new patch. I don't know what changed, but we're gonna play on
Yeah, we just playing it.
it. We're just gonna play on it. But yeah, what retro? What you think, man, about the patch culture for fighting games? That fellow Tia.
I would say, yeah, for as a TO, it is devastating. Oh my gosh. Because there have been some cases lately this year when we had tournaments, and there have been the patch announced like maybe if I kind of know like the standard we have is like okay, if at least a week before the tournament we can let it rock, or if it's less than a week, then that's a no go. And if it depends if it's local, it's actually very interesting because it's situational. Because like local wise, if it happens 2 days before, if new character comes out as well, all right, let it rock. Local wise, it doesn't matter. But as a major, it'd be like nope, either a hard no or like if it's a character that everybody likes, like I said, as an example with Coven Breaker, then it might be a debate about it depending on the time frame. But for me, I think for the patch culture, how it is nowadays, Capcom, for example, with Street Fighter Six, they actually are doing better with it. I would say. I mean, it's hard to try to patch things and knowing there's a tournament for it coming right there. Like Capcom not going to pay attention to 500 tournaments happening all over the world all the time, and they say, okay, let's drop a patch right then and there. Boom. Oh, we can't do that because this local is having a tournament. But they are. I know that they said they were going to try to do a patching as far now. This is from speaking from the developer end. They're doing the patching a little more frequently. Now is rather than like almost once or twice per year, like they initially started it. I was a big fan of that, but I think that having a little more frequent patching, but like smaller, tiny patches that doesn't like completely change a character or the game itself is perfectly fine. And the but like yeah, if it's a new mechanic or a new feature or maybe potentially a new character altogether, then I think like they should have it like scheduled accordingly, especially for majors or like Evo, of course, or CEO, whatever, or obviously Capcom Cup. It should be maybe more communication with the community, because of course, see on Twitter they are going to be very vocal if they see a patch coming the day before or the day of this big tournament or potentially, and they're like, oh my gosh, now we got update 500 PS5s and PCs and everything. On the players end, there is that constant, we see it all the time. Rashid is not safe anymore on block. I don't like it. Why don't they get this character something else? We need this now. This character needs this. Or Akuma is too broken. You need patch this thing quickly.
This character is too weak. Please
exactly.
buff it right now.
Like so, the part of the
yeah, that's what.
Yeah, go ahead.
No, that's exactly what I mean with like the developers need to really figure out what they actually need to like what really needs to pay attention and what is like just being ranting about stuff that's actually not an issue, or like they also have kind of a vision how they, I hope so, at least they have like some kind of vision for their game, how they want they to have it. So if they just change everything according to players, like I honestly think Street Fighter 6 is one of the best balanced fighting games of all time right now.
Okay.
In their current state. So if they it still has issues, obviously.
Right.
But like in terms of balance, it's one of the best. ever made. Like you can even see it on the tournament results of like we have so many different, like Kusanagi winning UFA with Ryu or whatever, you know.
Right. No, yeah,
So
yeah. Mm-hmm.
yeah, so there like from all of the roster, maybe currently like 1 or 2 are really bad, and the rest is actually characters you can win tournaments with, or at least having them as second character or whatever. So they need to be really careful with changing stuff, you know, otherwise it maybe gets worse than it is right now.
Right. 'Cause I think the other factor though is that it's understandably so. Of course, we are in the FTC. The other thing too, they're developers in their company. As a company, the thing is not the FTC may not always be the main focus for the game. There's people who are not very casual and likes the game and may not get into the FTC if they know about it, but like to play the game. And if they see the character get changed, all of a sudden, like suddenly this character can't do this move or combo anymore, like they used to, it'll throw that audience off of it. And so I think the idea is like, because we often we will forget when, especially in the Twitter, I would say, when we argue and complain about characters and stuff, we always looking at a competitive perspective. We don't think about the casual perspective for that patch where someone likes Terry, for example, because snap, my favorite character from Fatal Fury is in this game, or I like Ryu. I like this character because they look cool, and then you say, "Oh, do this cool combo," and then maybe a month or two later, after some debates and talking, and then
combo doesn't work anymore because they changed the character.
What my character? Why my character can't do this anymore? And
also that's a very big point because Street Fighter 6 is actually like with Battle Hub and Warrior mode and whatever. I think it's one of the it's the casual, it's not only the esports part, right? But the casual part is actually bigger than ever. I think people don't get. I think people really don't get how, from our perspective, I understand that pro players don't care about it and don't look at it as that much, but
right.
Capcom also needs, or Capcom obviously wants money, needs money, to develop future games or develop this game. So they want to make money as well. If they would check, and Street Fighter 6 has a huge, it's so huge in casuals, especially in Japan right now. They're filling stadiums with this game. You could watch casual YouTubers picking up this game and streaming it to 15,000 people, you know, and they're in rookie or silver rank, they just play they're just playing it for fun. They don't care about the stuff we do, or most of us do. So if they would change everything just in the perspective of esports,
right,
then a lot of less people would actually pick up the game, and then the company makes less money. So that can't be their goal as well. That's what I also said with balance. There needs to be a good balance between everything, really. So that's
and it's really hard to appeal to both type of audiences, because the thing is, their perspective of a certain character, people like Zangief, in a sense, for example, I just like to grab all the time. I just like to get close and grab this and that and third. Competitive players may be like, well, I want technique where I can do this and I'm safe enough to grab you, and I can do it this way and that way. The drive rush adds to this part and this and third, all the little calculations and frame data, and the other audience is like, why I can't grab like this anymore, this and that third. Well, you don't play it like this because that's you supposed to play like this, but I don't care. That's the part that it could lead to. But the thing, the developers have to be, I think, to be honest though, the developers for Street Fighter 6 have been more paying attention to the people complaining and having criticism about the balancing and the patches of the mechanics of the game. But at the same time, they are aware that there are other audiences that want to pick up the game and have fun with it. So that's why I think I agree with you with the idea of how Street Fighter 6 is a little more balanced in general than any other game, even though many competitive players may say otherwise. And actually lately, I remember, for example, just for the name out there, is Big Bird was known about how these Rashid like Bison, Ken or whatever character is like too strong. They shouldn't be this strong in the game. That the third, they should be patched down a bit.
I mean, even if they patch it, like if they patch these characters down,
Right.
and patch others, or leave, like for example, if they nerf Rashid and Bison now and leave Cammy untouched, then Cammy is number one, or whatever character, like
Right.
there will always be like the discussion about this character is too strong right now, and this character is too weak right now. There can, like, it's impossible to have every character like on the same level. And also I think it would make the game really boring to some extent if every character is like, if everything is super balanced out, then it kind of gets boring. At least from my opinion, because for example, if I watch Random right now, the Manon player, for the people who don't know, from Germany, when I watch him and then seeing people in the chat and saying, how can he win this? The character is so bad. This is kind of exciting to me.
Right.
This for me personally, like I'm not playing the game as much, so I'm actually more of a casual player, besides TOing and whatever. And if I see this, hey, this character, like if a casual sees this and says, hey, this character is not good, he's kicking ass with him, or Kusanagi with Ryu did, everybody was like, yeah, Ryu is not as great, and then he actually winning UFA with it. This makes a great story. It's not, and if everything is just super well balanced out, that every character can beat everybody and everything is 5-5, then I think it would get boring, actually. Like, then you're missing the story, like, at least these parts of the story where he said, yeah, the underdog with, not even the underdog, like the really skilled player with the weaker character actually won the tournament or did a really good performance with it.
I see that. Yeah, most definitely, especially like from spectators when you're watching it. Street Fighter 6 did such a great job. Still setting milestones to this day. Millions and millions of people own the game currently, and that's a lot. That's a lot of people that own a copy of Street Fighter 6, whether they play it consistently or not through casual or competitive aspects. It did a really good job of trying to. It's difficult to say what one side is versus the other. Like they're trying to make it where let's give content for our casuals, let's give them something to do, let's add in a story, let's add in a new mission or whatever. Let's put up something that'll have them engaging in the game but still kind of teaching them at the same time. And what did they do? They introduced that v rival thing, right? Perfect. Perfect. That was a perfect addition to the game. They put it right in front and center when you enter the battle hub. And it just helps you, it helps you out. You fight against your ghosts and you get excited, they play you level up and you can get the master rank or whatever in there, and that's another way it teaches you the
Yeah.
game. So they're doing such a really good job of adding in these features to, hey, how can we figure out how to help people maybe bridge over to the competitive side? And that V thing is definitely one of those features that they patched in with Terry, the Terry patch. So
Yeah.
this
And
is
it
what
doesn't
we're
hurt
all circling back to.
the game, like the game or the balance, really. But Capcom, please listen to me, okay? Add more costumes for the character for the characters to the game, please.
Agreed.
Like this is something I can really agree with all people on Twitter and everyone who's saying this. Like they really need to add more costumes for the character on a much higher pacing.
Yeah.
Like we are in year 2 now and we got how many? One for every character? This is not enough though.
Yeah, I think about one extra costume number 3.
Costume. Everybody got 2 costumes now.
Yeah.
Like even I think they, like it was very unbalanced in Street Fighter 5 with the, like some characters had like 20 costumes and others had like 3. But even if you do it this way, I prefer way more of just like adding one every year for all characters. You know what I mean? If you need to do it unbalanced to bring more in, do it unbalanced. I don't care. Just bring in more customs, okay?
More outfits. More outfits.
Yeah,
You could bring
more
back the Reboot thing they did from Street Fighter 5 when they had the
That's nice, yeah.
they had those little exclusive outfits. If you just put the code in from the can, get the Red Bull theme outfits. I'm surprised they didn't do that with the Chipotle stuff. You get a
Wait,
code from
I just
Chipotle,
thought,
you get like a
yeah.
Chipotle color
This was
outfit.
only on console, by the way. And I hated it so much. I really wanted the Cammy one on PC, but the Red Bull code only worked on PlayStation.
Huh.
Yeah, for those cans. Yeah,
Was one of the best colors for Cammy. Yeah.
Well, the thing about it, though, regardless though of the patching and everything and all that good stuff can happen, you can't please everyone. Cause you know what? Some people would be like, you know what? All this whatever, the Street Fighter 6, I like this older Street Fighter better.
Yep.
like the older better. The older better, you say? What do you mean when you say older better?
But,
you know that some people lately as well, they'd be like,
I miss Street Fighter 5. Like, come on, we know this would happen. Like, people always like, I will never miss this game, bro. It was so trash. And then 2 years later, the people are like, yeah, I miss Street Fighter 5. Yeah, of course. We know this would happen. It was the same. It's the same during every fighting game. Like the Tekken 8 players right now. Yeah, I miss Tekken 7.
oh my god,
I miss Tekken 7. And they were dunking on Tekken 7 before 8 came out. So
this is always a thing that pops up at some point.
Yeah.
So, yeah,
that's how it is. The circle of
that
life
was expected.
We actually had a special guest, Fierce Skills, shout out to him, that actually said Street Fighter 5 was a masterpiece.
He enjoyed it. He liked the game.
Yeah.
And
it would have been if the netcode would have been good.
Oh, really?
But,
okay.
Yeah.
I can see that.
It was a great game, but the netcode, like, I think the main thing that holds Street Fighter 5 down was the netcode. And it's like Street Fighter 6. Don't get me wrong, I love Street Fighter 5, but I think Street Fighter 6 is just a better game. It's like for the netcode alone, like for that reason, like we live in the online era right now, like so that's like netcode is actually way more like I think actually netcode gameplay comes first, right, and then netcode, and then everything else. So back in the days during Street Fighter 4 era, but no one cared really about that stuff. But now, if the netcode is bad, no one will play this fighting game.
Yeah.
Why do you think they so adamant about putting rollback netcode and everything?
The game
can make it a point to highlight rollback netcode.
This can be the best fighting game ever. If the netcode is bad, no one will buy the game.
Yep.
Because most people, like 99% of the players are actually playing this game online all the time. So, if, like, this could be the best fighting game, best gameplay, best balance, whatever it has. But if the netcode is trash, then the game is doomed.
You know what? I just thought about that now. Because I just thought about that. Because technically, through the collection series, Street Fighter 1 through 1 through 3 and Alpha, technically has netcode rollback, I think, in the collection series, or at least in some of the other games. 4 and 5 are the only ones that don't have it.
Yeah, kind of funny, right?
Yeah.
I mean, Street Fighter 5 has some kind of rollback. It just doesn't work.
Well, never mind. But I mean,
they made a network patch. It was terrible. It was really bad. It was actually worse than what it was before. They took it back, and it was still bad, but it wasn't as bad as the one when they tried to patch it. So basically, they just went around in the circle with this. And
then there was the mod around which made people was like, yeah, this is fixing everything. It actually made everything even worse because people couldn't connect between consoles and PCs anymore, and it was a huge mess if someone had it installed during online tournaments. This was so bad.
But the thing though is that, hey, I mean, even all right, if rollback was implemented in Street Fighter 4 or Street Fighter 5, for example, will we see a lot more numbers in comparison to Street Fighter 6? Would people still be like, you know what? I don't like Street Fighter 6. I'm going to go to Street Fighter 4. That had rollback. I'm not going to play Street Fighter 6 no more. I'm done with this game. Do you think that
I think a lot more people would still play Street Fighter 4 and Street Fighter 5 if it actually had good netcode? Like,
people would play it, but it's not going to get the same numbers as 6 has.
I mean, to be fair, I need to confess right now, I hated the guts out of Street Fighter 4. I never liked the game at all, but I get why other people like it. So I think a lot of people will still play the old games.
Oh yeah, I mean,
maybe even beside, like they don't need to drop Street Fighter 6. They can just say, hey, I want to play 5 today, or I want to play 4 today.
Not both. Apparently you can't play both nowadays.
But like starting Street Fighter 5 and playing a 3-bar connection against a Brazilian Ken, yeah, no, thank you. Like, then I'm just better play the game I maybe don't like as much, but at least I can play it flawless. So this is how important that code is right now. Like, even if I bet there are people out there who enjoy Street Fighter 5 more than Street Fighter 6, but they play 6 because it's just a flawless gameplay instead of 5 with this choppy, laggy network problem.
Yeah.
Interesting.
I mean,
interesting. Okay.
Mm-hmm. I mean, of course, I'll just make my last point of this. Like, for example, like at EVO recently this year, we had Street Fighter 3 as the throwback game. And of course, in general, there's always going to be like an idea of having a throwback to like an older game in the franchise out of respect. Like, Third Strike had the biggest entry, I think, at least over 1,000, the highest ever, or 1,100.
Yeah, EVO. Yeah.
Ever in a tournament ever.
Yeah.
I mean, the thing is, no matter what, for all those years, it's been 1998, 1999, whatever, been nearly 25 years, people love that game to this very day. And it was crazy enough because that game was initially, technically, that series was a failure. And became so beloved towards the end game of it with Third Strike. And even now you see many people nowadays on Twitter, people are like, I'd rather go back to Street Fighter 3. And Third Strike
that could happen with the other games as well. Like, we don't know how people will look at Street Fighter 5 in 20 years from now on. Like, maybe that will be the new Third Strike, which suddenly gets 1,000 entrants or whatever. Who knows? Like, but you never know. Like,
subjectively, I doubt. But you know what?
Yeah. No, I'm just saying.
You're good.
Like the internet really helps this game to get keep the hype going and keep the games going. Like, obviously, back in the days, we didn't back in the days when short sights was a thing, there wasn't that much. Like, you couldn't spread it that way like it is right now. A lot of, like, when you have 10,000 people at EVO, like, why not just sign up for Third Strike as well? You are there anyway. You get what I mean? So just sign up for the game and play. Maybe you don't even know what the game is, so you never played it in your life. A lot of people actually played the Third Strike like, I was at EVO as well. A lot of people actually never played the game before. They just did see, hey, Street Fighter Third Strike, I want to try out this old game,
Oh, yeah.
And they're at EVO anyway, so there was like, so obviously when the events get bigger and bigger and bigger, you will have more signups for the old games as well, because there's no point really to just not sign up if you have the time and want to try it out.
Right. Now, the thing you gotta be careful of, it's gonna be those people that come up to you and be like, you know what? This is when Ken was really good. This is when this character can have all the pokes and just like that. Not they nerfed it down in Street Fighter 6 because that drive rush thing is stupid. And the parry system is dumb. Blah blah blah. Literally,
To be fair, the parry system in Third Strike is also very dumb.
Old man on the porch.
Because no, I can tell you because I have players in my community. Just this out of respect, because like they picked up Street Fighter 6, and they're like, "This is dumb. Why Ken has this? Why they changed this? Why this feature drive rush feature is? Why parry is minus this now? Why is not safe on this, man? I can't punish like I want to. Why?"
You know what the funny? You know what the funny thing about it? If we would have Third Strike right now instead of any other game, like imagine Third Strike came out right now. People would complain the same as they do right now over Street Fighter 6.
Ooh.
It doesn't matter which game it is. Yeah, it doesn't matter which game it is.
Ooh.
You know, they would always just like, hey, this is stupid, this is trash, buff this, nerf this. It doesn't matter. Like, it was the same during 5, or the spread is like the word just gets around way quicker and easier now than back in the days. Like, I bet you had a lot of people back in Third when Third Strike was a thing as well. Like, why is this so stupid? But you didn't hear anything about it because he didn't have Twitter or whatever to go out there and tell everybody. That's the difference between the games back in the day and how gaming is now, you know?
Yeah.
So just the spreading is way more. Someone like Big Bird goes out there and say, "Hey, nerf Rashid is too strong right now. Please nerf him." And everybody, like 20,000 people or even more, read it. You know. But if he would have said the same thing about Urine back in the day, why is this
my gosh.
in Third Strike, no one would have read it because no one can. Like. Yeah, like there was nothing really to spread the word about it, you know, except for offline. You did go, like, they talked way more offline back in the day. It was not as widespread as it is right now. So yeah, that's the difference in my opinion.
No, I hear you. Yeah, definitely, I hear you. I think it would change if, like I said, if we had the internet like now, like it was, if we had internet back then, like it is now. Yeah, I think like those games would probably have to see that cycle, but I think the perspective and everything, and then even like going to the patching of things could also have been different, because people have been like, you know, why certain characters were not safe on block, or they suffer from this type of combo setup, whatever, in Third Strike or Street Fighter 2 and so forth. You need to nerf this, you need to block this, you need to cancel this, that. Street Fighter 4, of course, kind of had that, you know, entry into the online era when it became
that's when it was starting really,
right.
So at the end, actually not at the beginning of Street Fighter 4, but more kind of like at the end of Street Fighter 4, like the last 2-3 years or so, they actually changed stuff, you know, like, so this was when it kind of started.
Yeah, and I think, like, you know, but I say, like, now if Street Fighter 2, if Twitter was a big thing around time, or example, social media was when Street Fighter 2 came out, woo boy, that thing I think it would have been a mess. That it would have been, people would have been complaining, because Osagat would have been on the guillotine. He would burn at the stake for what
the character, ban him.
Whoo. Yeah, he would. He would ban.
Characters get banned.
Yep.
That's how powerful social media is. I mean, the directors, they pay attention. They look at those comments, and I don't know if their players. I mean, I'm sure they have a research department for the devs, who, you know, look at the characters and they have to make the decision if something is too strong or not. You know, people posting up a lot of Terry combo clips. He's able to get, you know, 3 Buster Wolves and 1 combo and stuff. Probably gonna change that. They're probably gonna look at that and be like, "Oh, no, he shouldn't be able to do that. We're gonna fix it. Don't worry." And then, you know, it's just things that social media has that presence where a lot of the, you know, talented and top players have that voice to influence the direction of how the game goes for patches. Oh, with enough complaints and enough people about things, eventually it's gonna get fixed. Give you an example. When Rashid came out for 6, there was the infamous V trigger. I mean, not V trigger. Infamous glitch with his level 2 that allowed him to get like infinite chip before they got patched. But the thing about it is, I think he was out a few days before Evo, but somebody posted about the clip a few days before Evo, and then they did like an emergency patch just to fix that. Now imagine if that was never posted, if that never went up or posted, nobody ever said anything, or somebody knew about it and they never went to social media about it. She could have been an evil terrorizing the competition with just chipping out people to death with his level 2. So it's things like that how social media can have such a great influence on the direction of how games are going to go
Yeah.
before their patches.
Yep.
Yep. All right. Before we move on to our next topic, again, I know it's getting kind of late over. Well, it is late over there on Retus' side, and again, I said I didn't want to take too much of his time, so we're just going to dive into this last topic before we close out for today's podcast. So once again, thank you, Retus, for joining us. So this one might be a little bit controversial. We cracked a few jokes earlier. Now I think we get down to the nitty gritty here for business. One of the main topics that I feel like a lot of players or people just kind of hold off or bottle up inside for themselves, and that's mental health being in the FGC. I think this is a very important topic that does not get explored enough or talked about enough with discussions. As adults, we use fighting games to separate ourselves and leave our problems at the door before and after the show. We enter the venue, then we pick back up when we leave. But the stress is real. The stress can be real, and it can affect you. It can affect your health. You work hard to try and take care of yourself, others in your environment, but you also want to have fun. You want to try to support the hobby that you enjoy. At time, the mental stack can take over. Maybe you're dealing with financial situations, family issues, job issues, and even other issues that may have going on. And do you think you're going to be able to perform the same whether you're a TO, player, or staff production? No. I mean, if you have a lot on your mind, you're not going to be able to function the same way as someone who doesn't have is not dealing with this with the big problem that they're having. If you did not have to worry about those things, your spirits would be much higher. But the more it stacks up, eventually, you shut down and you stop showing up or you start doing things. And then again, it can affect your health. So I think we as an adults, I think we would have to have like a serious discussion on how the mental health can take into effect there. So I'll go ahead and start off here with you, Retus, on your thoughts about mental health being in the FGC.
I mean, mental health is not only a thing in the FGC. Really, it's like a thing in everything really. But if you talk especially about mental health in the FGC, like let's see it from a interesting perspective, because I just had this yesterday actually. Like I know a lot of players who are like, they are very talented, for example, right? But they are like, they don't have the mental health state or mental capacity to really become a pro player, and this is fine. You need to, like, there are the ones who can deal with it, and there are the ones who can't deal with it. But you, like, for me, it's always, as a TO as well, it's like, I have these good days where I'm like, I can deal with everybody. Like, someone with a really bad mind state comes to me and is angry at whatever we are doing today because he got DQ'd for whatever reason. And if I mentally feel not as well, then I how do I explain this? Then it gets way easier to me personally as well. Like, sometimes I even need to apologize later, because even I get angry sometimes when I have a bad day as well. I get angry, and other people. Like, you really need to respect everybody's current mental state, like to some extent at least. If someone is always like this, then you are like, hey, you're kind of right now. But respecting someone's current state is something people should be more aware of. I see it a lot. A lot of people doing jokes or whatever and expecting that the person always gets it right or just laughing it off. That's not how it works. You need to. I mean, online it's way harder, but offline, like I had this situation by myself. Someone was joking all the time, and like I didn't feel well. At some point, I actually had to tell this person, "Hey, I'm not feeling it right now. Please, can you tune it down a little bit or stop?" You like
Mm.
respect just respect other people a little bit more and how they are feeling right now. If you get the or look at how he's feeling, you know. So it's a complicated topic, really. Yeah,
Everyone, I feel has like their sense of pride where they go, I can handle this or I got this. While they are a few moments away from like a breakdown, you're trying to be calm, trying to like not be aggressive towards that person or not be
yeah.
passive aggressive to them. And it's kind of to the point where if they're not respecting your boundaries or how you feel about a situation, it could kind of have you kind of see yourself lashing out at them, even though you don't mean it, but it's just kind of the frustration that's been building up. Like finding someone to listen and talk about your problems, it does help. Again, I think we have like that natural pride within us tells us we don't need any help, just handle it as it occurs. Like even more so on TOs, right? Because this is like involving I
Or
just
don't,
for
or don't
example, like
don't get me started on this one, man.
ooh, yeah, that's why I said it's gonna be a little bit spicy, man.
Yeah.
But even as TOs, man, involving funds and money, like make sure you put out a great product for people to enjoy. As a player, all we have to do is to go up to pay the parking fee, if applicable, venue or game fee, and enjoy the event. I mean,
I mean,
TOs are they're spending like hundreds to thousands of dollars on equipment and maintenance. Oh, even
yeah.
creating a separate budget or account just for FGC
It,
things.
it doesn't
But
matter
go
if
ahead,
it's
go ahead.
online. It doesn't matter if it's online or offline, really. Like these, like I'm not like I could speak of but I say just in general right now. I think TOs actually have the worst part of it. Like they get they bringing you great events and doing all this stuff. Like you said, buying the equipment, handling with the budget, putting so much pressure on themselves to making everything great. And sure, if they do a bad job, tell them, but please tell them in a way they can actually use do it in a way they can actually use the feedback and not making them like if someone comes to me and says, "Hey, you do a terrible job. You're so stupid," whatever. Like this is not feedback that helps me, and it makes me feel bad at the same time. If someone comes to me and says to me, "Hey, I got the cute," actually shows me the issue for whatever reason, or something else was wrong, actually shows me what's going on or what actually was the issue, and talks to me, this is way better. Just respect, just do it, just give feedback to the people in a normal, especially to the TOs when they are very stressed out already at Evo or whatever event. Like just tell them, hey, there's an issue, and don't be like, yeah, you are stupid because you did this and this. That's not helpful in this on not helpful in this moment, and not helpful in general at all. So it's not only not helping, it also like I had so many people in the past who are like they helped me or worked at other events, and they got like they couldn't handle it, like how people going at them sometimes, insulting them, like I don't even want to get started on it really. Like some of this stuff was and is really really bad. Like even some of the messages I get sometimes, I'm like, how can a normal person even text this, or say this or whatever? But if you're angry, fine. I'm angry as well sometimes, but still, it's hard to do. But I think just respect, like give feedback in a normal way, so he can actually, like, if he's doing a good job, then he will try to improve, on the stuff you're telling him. If someone is just bad at doing what he's doing, then he's just bad. Then just stop entering his events or whatever. Don't go out on Twitter and say, hey, this event is shit or whatever. Like, because you are angry something happened there. That doesn't help the event, and it doesn't help the TO. It doesn't help anybody really to improve. It just makes everything worse, and it makes everybody feel worse. So, yeah.
I mean, we mentioned it earlier about the customer, being customer service. And only few people can actually deal with the stress of being the TO, and maintaining a healthy mind definitely key. But being a respectful human being is kind of that someone would even have to ask, or put a message out there to do that. That shows the type of limits that TOs are going. It feels like a warning, but it's kind of like they're trying to say it in a subtle way, like, "Hey, let's be respectful. Let's do this, let's do that. Let's make sure we have a great time." And that's it. And the person continues to press the buttons, and then eventually it leads to a situation. But things like that plus on top of whatever personal issue outside of just the FGC that you might be dealing with at the same time, that can all stack up again. But the retro, how you feel about it?
This is coming from someone that personally actually has been in therapy for actually nearly 5 years now. I also try to do stuff like meditation and take walks and so forth. I have experienced people who may not be in the best mental health and within the FGC, and the worst thing they try to do is keep trying to come to events and so forth in their frustration, and it gets to a point where they may not like lash out, thankfully, but they do show signs where they kind of shut down, and it really gets them to the point where they just like can shut out from the world. And that being said, as someone who is a TO, trust me, it is a stressful job. But even if you're involved with FGC in any type of way, it can be stressful in any way. It'd be stressful regardless. Because unfortunately, yeah, ironically, the idea that for the FGC is to be provided like a safe haven and community from the real things that have reality of the world, but still problems can still follow, issues still can happen. Your life still goes on regardless, whether even FGC. And the thing is that if you can, try to find ways to take a walk, take a breather, depending on the level or severity of the mental health situation. For me, I personally had to go to therapy because I know as a leadership role, is a lot of burden that I have to carry with the demands and dealing with, now, for example, working with esports organization and grassroots simultaneously trying to work together. And if they don't collaborate, and you have a hope that it should work in that sense, it can be a very stressful mental strain. And it gets to the point where, I'm like, dang, I'm tired. I'm not sure I would do this anymore, whatever.
Yeah.
But the thing is that, for me, try to get mental help, go to try therapy. There's a few that get offer free sessions. I posted in the chat, healthygamer_GG. Guy's a doctor apparently, and a therapist that actually does talk about conversations about how to deal with mental health issues. And so at least there's many ways to reach out to it, at least advices and sessions or whatnot. But yeah, there's a lot because even with FGC, competing, not thinking about the reality of the world, but then dealing with players and people engaging you in all types of ways, and sometimes it may not be a friendly manner. That wears a lot on your mind, and if you
Gaming
go ahead,
gaming should be fun,
right?
not gaming should be fun, not stressing you out even more. If you game, like if you play any game really, or fighting games or whatever, if you play and you actually feel like even worse than you before, then you should really think about it. If
Right.
Is it correct right now that I actually play? You get what I mean? Like
I do.
like I see a lot of people pushing themselves all the time, and then you're obviously not improving very much if you are in a bad mental state or health state. Like if it's mental or if it's just like your general health state, like if don't try to push yourself so hard that you feel worse than you actually that you don't enjoy
Right.
don't enjoy gaming anymore, because like some pro player, I know some pro players, they only play for money, but they're also good enough to play only for money,
Right.
and they can deal with it, like they have the mindset all the time to actually just do it, even if they don't like the game as much or whatever. But if you are just a casual player or someone who really just don't push yourself so hard. I know some people have the dream to become a pro player, but like in everything, you really need to find the balance. Like if it gets to you so hard that you feel worse after you did sit on your PC or console or whatever, then you stopped, and now you are even more burnt out than before, then you really should find a solution to it. It's like what the solution is, it really depends on the person itself. Like for some people, it's just a walk. Some people straight up need therapy, or like it could be a different. Like for everybody, it's a different thing, right? So yeah.
Right. Right. Yeah. So, like I said, I'm not going to hold on. It's just basically saying that from my perspective, you know, if you can seek therapy, and I said, don't try to keep engaging with something if you're not in a good mood and it's going to wear on you more. Like, Regus was saying, just, take time. Like, I have to understand that you have to take time out and be like, you know what, I'm step away. The FTC is not going to go anywhere unless something crazy happens and they fall apart. But even then, don't let it also be the point that FTC, without the FTC, you're nothing. Don't let that mindset to take that type of lifestyle. Because, yes, the FTC can be a great safe haven if it's developed in that sense, in that way, from the issues of life and whatnot. But if the FTC itself is also a problem and is toxic, then you have to take a moment to yourself, like, you know what? Should I keep surrounding myself in this
Maybe
environment?
just do your thing then.
Mm-hmm.
Just keep the people close to you,
Right.
who you like, and ignore the rest. Like
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
who cares what some XY guy says on Twitter about me? Like if I would react to everything everyone, like some people say about me or others all the time,
Mm-hmm.
I would be in a bad mental state all the time. It's
Mm-hmm.
really hard to not, like, sometimes when I feel bad, I also read it. Uh, I'm making the mistake of actually reading it, and then I feel even worse than before, or listening to some of the stuff. But like more, like I
Mm-hmm.
learned over time, I just keep the people closer to me who are like, and the rest is like, yeah, whatever. What do I care? This guy doesn't even live in the same country as me. He's not my neighbor or whatever. So what do I care what he says?
Mm-hmm.
That's just my solution to it, really.
I hear you. And like I said, I just offer my 2 cents as my perspective. But definitely agree with you. I definitely agree with you.
Yeah. Yeah, it's definitely different ways people deal with situations, and depending on that situation is how they'll approach it. I know it may be difficult, and it would kind of take some time to break it down. This is just like a quick overview. I know we're running short on time here. I want to also be mindful of Retus's time too as well. Before we pack it up here with our ads, Retus, was there anything you'd like to discuss before we move on? Ads?
Mm, I think you had. No, I think we're pretty much done with the topics, right? So
Yes.
uh, what I want to say, um, enter Swordman League every Sunday.
There's nothing wrong with that. Hey, if that's what you want to say,
Hey,
go
I
for
mean,
it. The floor is yours.
If you live in Europe, no EMEA anymore. For like we did do it for EMEA for some time. It just didn't work out. Like even with the best netcode, we had the feeling, which is funny. We actually have more. Like I expected that our sign up numbers would actually drop down. It wasn't the case. We now have with Europe only. We now have more sign-ups than we had when we did EMEA.
okay.
For people who don't know what EMEA is Europe, Middle East, and North Africa. And now we are back to Europe only, which is only Europe. So now we have actually more sign-ups than we had before because they are happier with more stable connections. So they pretty much didn't enter because of it, and now they're in. So we have more than before.
Cool. Like I said, we're going to segue over. And speaking of Salt Mine League, and I'd like you, talk about, switch over to the advertisement, talk more details about the Salt Mine League that's coming up. I believe one of them is going to be on the 6th of this month. So you can talk more about the Salt Mine League event, open bracket.
Yeah, I mean it's pretty much every Sunday. I mean, normally we have a season going, like as the name says, Saltman League. It's a league system. Normally it's 11 weeks plus season finals. So we have pretty much we have a ranking system, and the top 8 at the end of the season do qualify for the season finals. So the 8 plus players play it out, and the winner of it becomes the season champion. Currently, the season is on hold because we do all the CPT World War events. We couldn't even do the last season finals yet, and I think we ended them in June. Like the season final, like I'm trying to do the season finals since June, and we just can't do it because there's either World Warrior or an offline event or an event I have to attend to or I'm attending as well. Like I'm going to a lot of offline events as well, helping out there. So yeah, we are doing currently just off season, so pretty much normal weeklies, and we have between 90. Yeah, I would say between 90 and 150 signups every single weekend. So yeah, if you're interested and live in Europe or just be in Europe for 1 week or on vacation, you can just enter our Discord and then just check out our social media at Saltmine TV or our Twitch and YouTube. And you can just enter our Discord, and there you find the sign up link for our events every single Sunday
Cool.
when there's no World Warrior going on.
Gotcha. Cool.
Sounds like
go
a
ahead.
plan. Tune into that Salt Mine League
Oh yeah.
Sunday.
Cool.
I mean, we have the best, some of the best players in the world. We have Evo champions in there, Capcom Cup champions, Problem X, Ending Walker,
Hey.
Hurricane, Juicy Joe, Takamura, Lord Venom. We have so many good players. Garnet, Zerna. We have so many good players in there. Like sometimes to even make top 16, you have to play against the
Just to
Evo
get the
champion.
top 16.
But yeah, but it's not. Summer League is not only about the top players. Like a lot of time you say like, I think the normal players who just go 1-2 or 0-2, they are, in my opinion, they are as important as the top players. Or like without them, you wouldn't have a tournament. I mean, you would have a tournament, but maybe like with 10 people, or 15 people, and we have actually a lot of players who like they started back in Street Fighter 5 with going 0-2 all the time, and then over time they did improve. Then they did go 1-2, and then they made top 32, then top 16, and now some of them make top 8 all the time, like Riekemann Sparnet or Wonder Boy. You know, we have these people who are here for a very long time, and this is a very, very good story, and it feels so great for me as well, because that's kind of the thing I wanted to do. Like one of the goals for Swordline League was help people improving, you know, still, and bringing Europe on the map way more, because I think Europe is actually a region that gets more and more acknowledgement now, but back in the day it get way less than it deserved, you know. And I still think it still gets a little bit too less, but it got way better than it was, you know? So I'm already happy about where we are right now. And players improving over time and making better and better results in the event is something great. So yeah, don't be scared if you are not as good of a player. We have everything really in there, from total beginner to pro player Evo champion, you know? So this is just for everybody, not just for the best of the best.
Okay, cool.
You're welcome regardless of your skill level.
Yeah, I need to take a trip back to Europe. And I definitely would like to come see y'all. I try to go. I would like to see people in England as well. Hopefully I'll just get a month off and just travel all the way UK and Europe. So definitely.
Speaking about UK, there's Kings of the World in London, King's Cross, London, from 13 to 15 December. It's the last Capcom Pro Tour event.
Okay. But
yeah,
Germany is also one of the countries I like to visit as well. So definitely, hopefully,
you should do it.
I would love to go.
Yeah, Germany is a beautiful country.
I can.
I mean, I'm a bit biased, obviously, but even then, I would say it's like even if I remove the bias, I still think it's a beautiful country.
Oh yeah, I mean, I go to Oktoberfest, so you know. But yeah, but yeah, definitely I would like to come visit for sure, for real. But of course, we're moving along. So locally here in the Georgia area, we will have our Saturday tournament. So this Friday, no, not this Friday, next Friday, it'll be our Melty Blood, Mortal Kombat, and our new Dragon Ball Sparking Zero tournament that's going to be premiering that day. Of course, that Friday in evening time. And of course, Saturday, we'll do a back-to-back. If you enter both days, you get $2 off on the discount. And we'll be having, towards that Saturday, our Smash Goods Gear, Under Night and Birth, Tekken 8, and Street Fighter 6 tournaments happening. And of course, it'll be part of our Middle Georgia circuit, part of the esports organization, Swag Out Nerds. Of course, if you Goods Gears, Under Night, Tekken, and Street Fighter, enter those games and you get certain placement. You get points for our finals in March, and more details on that a little bit later. Of course, for sure. And of course, not going to forget that this weekend we're actually should update the advertisement, because they actually upped the prizes for DreamHack Atlanta. So I believe it's now 10,000 for Street Fighter and Tekken, and I think everything nearly doubled, if I'm not mistaken. But yes. So some of our players, unfortunately, I cannot make it to DreamHack this weekend. But some of our guys are going. And I know, of course, Georgia in general is going to be marching up there trying to defend the turf. So if you are in the area or interested in checking out DreamHack, try to get a ticket. Try to go to this place. It's $1 per game to enter if you do go to the convention. And hey, chance to win It'd be in top placement for out of the good thousands of dollars for sure. And of course, last but not least, the Otaku number 8 is happening near the end of the year on December 20th to the 22nd in Orlando, Florida. So if you like a lot of anime games and games that are not normally featured in most tournaments and locals and whatnot, then you definitely should come to see Otaku, where that is almost an anime obscure fighting game galore. For sure. Of course, they will have the main stream Street Fighter, Tekken, Marvel, Smash, and whatnot. So definitely, if you like to go to those type of events, I believe highly recommend them as well. Of course, it's not. I forgot to list it, but the end of this month, the 25th and 6th, I think, it is Climax at Night. That is also featuring Melty Blood, the old one as well, and Under Night and Birth, and Dengeki Fighting Climax. So definitely, if you're into those games as well, that's in Atlanta. Definitely check out the Climax at Night number 6. That's all the announcements I have for today. Anything else? Yeah.
Okay. All right. Well, outside of just I had two of them, but I don't think I had the slides ready in time. I'll just give this one out real quick. I have a tournament going down this Sunday here on the Eastern Coast of the U.S. time for Untamed Gaming's Street Fighter 6. Well, I'll be doing commentary over there for their Rambat series down at 3:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Just a little bit, I believe, when Salt Mine League is wrapping up for their event. That's when our starts there for us. And then also on top of that, I'm also in a sponsored league event here for Street Fighter 6 2 as well. It's me and four other teammates. We're competing in league style weekly matches. There's one tomorrow that's going down on Stream Team Battle on Twitch. That starts at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. It's supposed to be, I believe, Team Lagger versus Team Pulse, I believe. But yeah, we played this past Monday. We ended up winning. It was the crazy matches. It's already up on their YouTube. But we play again next Monday. So we'll definitely checking out the competition, scoping it out for tomorrow, and then getting ready for Monday. But with that being said, that'll it here from my end for announcements for right now. Oh, and just to remember, I think Retro, you said climax tonight, right? You talked about that,
Yeah,
or didn't
I
you?
briefly mentioned details about it.
You
Yeah.
brought it up. Okay, yeah, that's around the corner too as well. And then, oh yeah, DreamHack this weekend. Also, good luck to those players out there. Um, hopefully they represent and we can see
Isn't
one of our own in top 8.
isn't East Coast Showdown this week as well?
Yeah, a
Is
lot
it?
of
Wait, I
events.
think it's next week. No, it's next weekend.
Is it this next week? Next
Right.
week, next
Yeah, Tiger
next
Uppercut
week.
is a Thailand tournament is this weekend, and
Oh yeah.
next weekend is because Chocote posted about ETC next weekend.
Next weekend,
Oh,
yeah.
okay.
So it's next weekend. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Okay. Well, with that being said, that's all of the announcements there. That looks like that's going to wrap up episode 4 for season 4. Man, we've been doing this for 2 years and we have over 40 hours of us talking. Oh, all right, and then we're just gonna add Retus's voice to the collection. Thank you so much, Retus, for taking your
Yeah, it
time
was
out.
a pleasure.
You,
Thank you
yo,
very much for having me.
Mm-hmm.
I had
yeah.
a great time with you guys.
Thank you so
All
much.
right, man. Is there any shout outs you want to do before we log off here?
I want to give a shout out to the German community in general. You know, uh, to Fassa during the Experian events in Cologne, and to the all the boys in the Hard Edge Discord and the boys in the Berlin Discord, and to the boys in the German FGC Discord. And I want to thank everybody for supporting us over all these years so far. Let's continue doing. I hope having a lot of more years to come. Street Fighter 6 just in a in our second year, and we want to do. I can't tell too much right now, but we're planning on adding other games to our roster as well again at some point. I mean, we did Guilty Gear for some time, during some point. So yeah, I think fighting games in general are in a very good spot right now. We're getting so much exciting stuff and so much more exciting stuff to come. So yes, I'm looking forward to it, and I hope you're looking forward to it as well with me together. So thank you very much.
Indeed, indeed. The gray air, it is definitely a good time. Definitely be a fighting game fan.
Also,
And what
hashtag buff Cammy.
buff Cammy? Buff Cammy? Retus, you are fired.
Okay,
There it is.
I'm
Yes.
on.
Yes. I did it. I got one. I got one, ladies and gentlemen. We got him. We got him.
Uh,
All right. Thank you
you,
again so
you you
much, Retus.
wish, you wish.
Thank you so much, Retus, for joining
Yeah.
us. Hey, shout out to you, Sir Retro. Retro, where can good people find you at?
Virtually anywhere, social media, Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, Sir Retro08. Of course, I actually am Googleable, if that's a word. Um, and I'll pop up somehow. And I'm sure Shadow Ace should be also be found as well in that same fashion at this point. You know, our names have been popped up a little bit here and there. Of course, like I said, virtually anywhere on Discord, on Twitch, as you hear now, on YouTube, Twitter, Facebook, whatever. Of course, hit me up. I'm open to talk and try, as much as I can. I'm busy right now trying to hosting family from the recent hurricane, unfortunately, but hopefully things work out in that end. But I'm doing all right, doing all right. But yes, how can the people can reach out to you, Shadow Ace?
You can check me out on Mind of Shadow Ace on the Twitters. You may catch me on the Salt Mine League one day. Hint, hint, wink, wink, Retus. All
Huh?
right. But we shall see what happens. Definitely a good
You
time on
just
that.
tried to fire me. Why should I bring you into commentary?
Oh, I could fire you in front of more people.
No.
You mean you mean I
So
can
we can have
fire you
more
in
people.
front?
So
You
you
mean
can
I can
fire me.
fire you in front of more people?
I did the Vacherino and I still got fired. Shake my head. Goodness gracious. All right. Well, thank you again, Regis, for taking your time out. I hope you guys enjoyed the episode. For those who are just tuning in later or may not have caught the first hour of the podcast, do not worry. This will be archived and uploaded on the Reboot Retrocade Gaming channel on YouTube. Retro will post when the link is available. Episode 4 is ready for review. So, again, if you want to throw the episode on, you're doing your daily chores while you're working, cleaning, whichever activity you're enjoying, just throw the podcast on in the background and then just enjoy hearing from the FGC. So stay tuned for details on episode 5. We're gonna keep it moving. We're gonna keep the energy flowing. And I'm out of here.